Welcome to Micro Podcast. This is episode 7. I have my friend and colleague, Steve Smith. Today, we're talking about developing a killer campaign. Steve, what are the ingredients to developing a killer campaign?
The challenge right now is noise. With over 60 billion going into work tech financing since 2020, the level of noise, whether you're talking about brand awareness or demand generation, is just off the charts. The way you can rise above that noise is find a way to break the script. There's 3 things that you need to do. Number 1 is you need a killer concept. Look at what WorkHuman did with their WorkHuman conference. Back when they started it, they weren't even WorkHuman, they were Global Force, and they brought in A-list talent, the George Clooney's and the Michelle Obamas, and they weren't talking about software or HR problems. They were talking about what is it to create those human connections. It was so successful, it actually became the company brand. Once you have that killer concept, the next thing is excellence and execution. An example that stands out for me is what Masterclass did with their booth at HR Tech last year. You know, the standard kind of HR Tech booth, you know what that looks like. Theirs was just this big cube. It was like this mystery thing. What is that? And you walk in and it's this modernist box and it's just displaying the video that is their core product. And then to really kind of get some attention, we're going to bring Penn and Teller here. It completely stood apart from all of the golf games and the cocktails and the demos that other booths were doing. So it was incredibly well executed. And then finally, it's channel selection, whether it's an event, is it an industry event? Is it your own event? What's the channel you're going to bring this to life in the world with?
Steve, I want to launch a killer campaign concept, but I don't have a multi-million-dollar budget. Is it possible for me to do any of this out there without having those huge budgets?
Absolutely. It's all a matter of how can you do something that is unexpected? Looking at what Sonar 6 did years ago with their cardboard box HR Tech booth, it was almost like the anti-booth. It was completely low tech. It's 10, 12 years later, and people are still talking about that booth because it was so completely different. It really is challenging your own assumptions of what do I have permission to do? And sometimes it's those things that's just like, well, we can't do that. That's the place you should absolutely try to break the script.